Hello everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is Hotla Mode, and today on Hotla Mode we are getting into the red carpet from the Grammys 2020. Now, for those of you who do not know, the Grammys is kind of one of the biggest moments, award shows in the music industry, and normally the Grammys has been filled with quite iconic, over-the-top, avant-garde experiences, looks, and fashion moments. So I expect a lot from the Grammys, like I really truly do. So for this year's Grammys, some people definitely did deliver, and others definitely did not. And before we get any further into the video, if you guys are looking for a channel that talks about fashion in the most fun, sassy, bitchy, analytical way, this is it. You can go down below, hit the subscribe button, and turn on my post notifications. I mean, like, what you have to lose, you're already here. And if you guys want to see more from me, you can follow me on any of my social medias linked down below. And if you guys are looking for the link to my podcast called The Fashion Victims Podcast that I host with my friend Darnell Jamal, you can find the links in the description box below as well. Check it out, it's cute. So let's get into this red carpet. Let's not waste any time. So first up is Anderson .Paak, and he is wearing Gucci. The thing about this is, listen, it's a bit blah. I don't think the pants fit really well. And the thing is, I'm really like expecting a lot from the Grammys. Like, it is kind of an iconic fashion period. Like, you're supposed to really turn out a look, not just like a pretty or like kind of safe-ish suit. Like, you're meant to turn something out that's a bit crazy, avant-garde, over the top, ridiculous, which was done by so many, both men and women, this red carpet, that the expectations are high, and this is not, you know, great. It's just a blue suit. You know, it's a bit baggy, it's a bit boxy, it has a waistcoat, it has a little striped shirt underneath. You know, the pants just really don't look like they fit, because I can see from this photo, like, the back, I can just see, like, the excess of fabric, which I'm not saying that suits have to be, you know, extremely tight, like skinny Saint Laurent, like Celine, Eddie Slimane suits, but like, they should fit nicely. And I get that like Gucci's different and like, you know, blah, 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 but I would appreciate if it fit. I do like the little Gucci loafs just because they're white and they're not like a boring slip-on loafer. Like, they have a weird shape to them, which is, you know, different. They have a little bit of a chunky heel at the bottom. Like, I don't love the GG horse fit, you know, experience, because I think that's a bit overplayed now. I know it's one of the brand signatures, blah, 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 but I'm a bit tired of it. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it could have been a lot more interesting. Next up was probably one of the biggest moments of the night, and it was, in fact, Ariana Grande showing up in a custom Giambattista Valli haute couture gown. And when I saw this, I was very excited. I will insert clip of me. In reality, I love this. To see the journey of Ariana Grande go from basic ass bitch, because that's what she is, that's what she's always been. She has never truly really served an iconic fashion moment, except that like Vera Wang Met Gala look, which honestly I don't think was terribly impressive. So for this, you know, to really be a moment, which it is, it's a moment. That's a big ass Tool monstrosity. Now you're probably all gonna say, Luke, you say you hate Tool. Tool sucks. Blah, blah, blah. But first things first, I just want to say again, Ariana Grande sweatshirts and ugly knee-high boots. Let us take a moment to appreciate a little bit of a fashion glow up. Just let us appreciate that. Because like, listen, here on Hotla Mode, we will drag the girls like it's nobody's business. But when you make a stride in the right, proper direction, you deserve the credit for that right, proper direction. And thank God for Laura Roach, because he's helping her make this a moment. Now, probably all gonna say, oh my God, I've already seen this dress. No, you haven't. You've seen a shit ton of these big Tool monstrosities in every single color of the rainbow. You know what color is not in the rainbow? This beautiful light gray. It's beautiful. It's a really, really beautiful dress. I think it's a beautiful color. I think the frothing at the middle of the dress actually gives it a much more interesting vibe than having it had been at the hem of the dress. I feel like a lot of the time it's that frothing at the hem, but here it sort of like makes it much more layered without actually being layers of tulle. I love the bodice. I think it fits her beautifully. I think that, again, she is a very small person. No matter what, these tulle gowns are gonna eat her up, but I think that's a great aesthetic to play to for her and her team. Like, she is tiny. play to her being tiny. Another thing is, didn't love the gloves. I'll be very, very honest. That was the one thing that I just thought like, oh, why did we do that? If the gloves had been like the same color, would have loved. I don't think in the silk that it's cute. I just think the shininess looks cheap. It looks tacky. I can see all the stitches in it. Like, it's just not cute. Don't love that. Had it been like in a beautiful made for Ariana Grande leather in that gray. Oh! Would have been beautiful, would have been stunning, would have been fantastic. I just truly think that it's not a tool that we see all the time. I think a lot of tool is just sort of a trend, of a, you know, whatever, have so-and-so random designer make it. Here, this is Giambattista Valli. This is his bread and butter. People can say tulle is over, myself included, but I think when there is a nice tulle gown done that really is jaw-dropping, which to me this is, it's cute. I think for Ariana, it is a glow up in terms of fashion, which again, I appreciate and I'm thankful for because I'm tired of seeing her look a mess. And honestly, I think the color is a really great choice. I think it's very stunning. I think it's very striking. I think it looks beautiful on her. And again, we don't really see a lot of those sort of colors on tulle dresses. So it is different from what we're normally seeing on a red carpet and on the runway. So I am appreciative of it. I am happy for her to have this glow up. But then the thing is, she wore a second look. That was Schiaparelli haute couture. And now my question is, why? Oh, why? Oh, why? Oh, why would you do that? Why would you ruin the absolutely perfect fucking moment that we just had with that absolute hot garbage disaster? Like, we were having a good time. Like, why'd you have to kill the vibe? Why'd you kill the vibe, Ariana? Why'd you kill the vibe? It's ruining my day. Like, ugh. So bad. So this is Schiaparelli haute couture, which, like, haute couture? I don't know her if she's haute couture. Like, I'm sorry, the fucking two-piece separate, like, darted, dark gray, like, cami top. Are we kidding? Are we kidding? And then you have the gloves that followed through. So I thought maybe the gloves were like, you know, when she stripped it off, it was gonna match the bodice and it was gonna match the skirt. But in reality, it's 3 different grays. It's 3 different grays. They're all different colors. Why are they all different color grays? I don't understand. Why? And then the skirt. I'm sorry. It looks like polluted, like, seawater frothing off of her. I don't understand. What's the point? Like, it is confusing. It's so confusing why they would have done this. I just don't get it. So I did look it up, and apparently Ariana had 2 custom looks made for her that she just couldn't decide. Well, I'm sorry, babe. Make a life decision, and the life decision should be, I don't want to look like a hot ass disaster, because that's what you look like. Look, this is good, this is bad. 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 I'm sorry, I understand you're like, you know, not into fashion from what I can tell, but you do have eyeballs, right? Yes? Can I get a confirmation? So, if you have eyeballs, you should know that one of these things just doesn't belong here. Next up is Bebe Rexha, and I just have to ask the question, Bebe Rexha, what are you doing here? She's like Rita, but different. She's wearing Christian Cowan. So listen, first things first, credit where credit is due. I like this little beaded top. I think it looks really good. I think it's interesting. I want to know more about it. I just don't like the suit. I like the jacket of the suit. I do. I like the little subtle bell sleeve moment. I like the length. I like that it's open. But the pants, why? They're so ugly. With a peep toe? With a peep toe. Why? Why? You're wearing a suit. Wear a boot. Suit, boot, they rhyme. It's really not that difficult to figure it out. Yeah, I'm just not obsessed. Like, also, I don't need, like, a cummerbund. Don't need a cummerbund. It's fine. I really don't want her. Yeah, I just think, I like where it's going. It seems like we're getting in some sort of direction for Bebe Rexha, because, like, listen, if I'm gonna have to look at her on the red carpet, I would hope that it's something not awful. So I like the top underneath. We gotta work on the rest, the outre experience, please. Thank you. Next up is Ben Platt, and like Ben Platt to me is just awkward. Like he just looks awkward. He plays awkward characters. Like he's just he's weird. I'm sorry. People can say whatever they want. He just looks like a weirdo. So this like weird knit sweater print on a sequin blazer with like a black pant and a weird black shoe, I feel like it's very fitting. It just looks weird, and I feel like that plays to his character. He just looks like a weirdo, and I do like it. I'm not like totally offended by it. It's quite strange, but it works. I feel like my grandfather has like sweater vests with that print on it, and I feel like that's what they were going for over at Balmain. It works for me. It really does work for me. I don't know why. I couldn't really truly give you a reason, but the whole thing just looks peculiar, and I like it. Moving on, another big one, Billie Eilish. Not that she's big, like a big moment. So she's wearing Gucci. I don't know if it's by Dapper Dan or one of Alessandra Michele's little, red carpet compadres, but I like it. Now, I am working on a video about Billie, and I'm just sort of getting into her aesthetic, which we can talk about. It definitely is reminiscent of, styles that come from Black culture, 100% hip hop, people like Missy Elliott specifically wearing these sort of oversized pieces, and not just Missy Elliott, but a whole range of Black cultural icons. So like, to not recognize that in Billie's aesthetic and wardrobe would be just dumb, because that is where it comes from. Although she does wear oversized clothes for a very specific reason, as she's mentioned multiple times in interviews, which is she doesn't like the sexualization of her body. She's a young woman. I totally respect that. And so I think that's why she wears these very oversized pieces. Now, it does seem like she's doing a lot with Gucci recently. I do think a little bit of like the monogram shit is getting very tired. Like, babe, we all moved on from monogram and like logomania, so maybe you should too. That's important. Let's work on that one. Thank you. But the oversized shirt and baggy pants, very her, very on brand, very much so makes sense. And the thing is, I think Samantha Burkhart, who is her stylist, actually is quite smart in the way that she goes about sort of styling those very signature Billie pieces that is signature to her, and sort of giving it a little bit of dimension. So you have these sleeves. They're these very like puffed, crystal sleeves that, bit bulgy. You have a turtleneck underneath. It's that like puke green, which is very Billie, like the hair, the glasses, very Billie aesthetic. I do think that the sleeves sort of give it a little bit of dimension. It gives it a little bit of historicism, a little bit more drama than we're used to with Billie, because normally it's just the baggy shirt and pants, and that's kind of all you're gonna get. So here I am appreciative of, the sleeves and the turtleneck. I just feel like it gives it something a little bit different. But I will say, I'm getting a bit tired of the same old shit that we see all the time, and I really feel like they need to evolve out of this eventually. I'm not saying that they have to evolve out of bagginess, but I think they need to evolve out of a shirt and pant every single time and not really doing anything with it. Because very much so, it's very flatlining, it's very basic, it's very boring, and I think they need to figure it the fuck out. Because, like, put her in a dress. Put her in a gigantic, oversized dress. And I don't mean a tulle dress, I just mean who make amazing pieces, who make amazing silhouettes, who make amazing styles that Billie could show up in a Simone Rocha gown with Jordans, and it would be cute, it would be interesting, it would be different, it would be something that we haven't really seen. So I just think they're really, like, hemming and hawing it in terms of style, when to me the music videos are so on point. Like, the music videos are ethereal. They're like Gaga-esque to me in the way that they like have the different meaning. Like, they really are stupendous. And I think that every time I see her on a red carpet, I'm just like, that's it? That's all we got? Like, there's nothing different. There's nothing, speaking, except I wear monograms. And like, I'm tired of that. That's boring to me now. I really need that to like evolve and to get to a different place. So hopefully that happens. I like what's happening here, but I think we really need an evolution for Billie in terms of style, because this is getting kind of monotonous. Next up is Billy Porter in Baja East. Baja? I don't know. Baja Blast? Baja East. No. So the thing is, the crystal jumpsuit with little bolero jacket, love. I love the color. I love the, silhouette-ish, listen, beggars can't be choosers here. But when we start to add all the silver fringe at the bottom of the jumpsuit with the boot, that's where you lose me. Like that's just, the thing is, Billy Porter really goes from having a really cool moment that we're kind of interested in, and then he crosses that very fine line where it becomes tacky and campy and gross and weird and like, we don't love it. He really does. And it's been more and more recently that it's just gotten so over the top that you're like, that's it? Now, I know I said I expected over the top. And now I will say there are compliments coming. The hat does actually clear the fringe. It's like a remote hat and like it moves like the Red Sea, it parts, which is very interesting, which is very cool, which we're very into. We love that for Billy. But I just can't get over the fringe on the jumpsuit. Like, why would you do that? Like, I just don't understand. It looks terrible. It like totally throws off the silhouette. It totally throws off proportions. It draws your eye all the way down there when it shouldn't. Because I think the focal point of this look should be the hat. And why would you want to bring it all the way to the pant leg when the focus is on the hat? That just doesn't make any sense. It defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do. And then it tacks up the look. We don't want to tack up a look. We want to class up a look. We want to make it elegant, eleganza. Yeah, I just don't think the layered fringe, because it's not just one fringe. It's like layered and it's cheap looking, and you know how I feel about fringe. If you're gonna do fringe, I would like for it to be full. I want to feel like it is a full experience of fringe, you know, cascading down, and it's not that, because it looks like a thinning fringe. It looks like a 40-year-old thinning fringe. Nobody wants a 40-year-old thinning fringe. You want a full 20-something-year-old hair of fringeness. I just think it could have been stripped down into a look that really was fantastique. And unfortunately, we had to go over the fine line that's there and make it a bit yee. Now, next up is BTS, and I just want to say a huge shout out to Kit Kat Kook on Twitter because she just gave me the name of all of the BTS boys, because listen, I'm so sorry. I know like Jimin and like Rap Monster and like Jungkook, but I couldn't put the names. There's 7, that's a lot of people to memorize. I'm really sorry. But I also would like to announce that the BTS video is definitely on pause. I'm sorry to the BTS fans. We just have a lot going on. So first up on the far left is V. Now, I just want to say they are all wearing Bottega Veneta, and unfortunately for them, I just don't think the Grammys is the event to wear Bottega Veneta to. Daniel Lee's Bottega Veneta is very minimal. It's very like, I think it's very sad and strange sometimes, and like here, they just look like a cause advertisement, and I just don't think that's a great look for them. Like, the thing is, Bottega Veneta in terms of accessories, fantastic, revolutionary, we love. Clothing-wise, so disappointing. It's truly one of the worst things I think I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just so boring and sad and bad. Like, Rihanna can't even save it. So, listen, not a great choice. But first, on the far left is V. I'm not obsessed with the suit. It's just like a baggy suit with, you know, a black turtleneck. That's all. Next up is Suga. Again, turtleneck, black fitted pants, black blazer, like boring. Boring, sorry, boring. Boring, boring, boring. Next up is Jin. I like the detail on the pocket. The outside pocket of the coat. I do like that. I thought that was interesting, and I thought it was Prada at first. But, you know, it's a white t-shirt with a tan coat and a black pant and a black boot. Like, it's just boring. Like, the whole thing is boring. I mean, I'm gonna let you in a little secret. Everything else is boring as well. Next up is Jimin. Oh, Jimin. Jimin got the most style, I guess, but it's a half leather trench coat that doesn't look well done, because it looks cheap and chintzy, which is sad. I just wish it had been like a full leather moment, like, you know, and I don't blame them necessarily because it's all Bottega Veneta's fault, but it's still disappointing. Although I will say, love the shoes, because they are little quilted Bottega shoes, which we stan, we love. Next up is Jungkook. Yeah, very pretty. But, yeah, it's a gigantic gray coat. Like, there's nothing to it. Then there's RM. He looks happy and smiling, but again, a gigantic, you know, beige coat. There's nothing there. There's no storyline. I'm not getting anything that I can really like grasp onto. And then finally is J-Hope. I wish I had some J-Hope for, you know, BTS's looks, but I don't. It's just sad. It's a white shirt over, it's just a white shirt over a turtleneck, over a black jacket. It's just disappointing, and like, I would like for the Bottega moment to have been a moment, but unfortunately, Daniel Lee and their styling teams, or whoever chose out all of these looks, really picked like the most boring, banal, mundane parts of Bottega Veneta and really put it out there. I think there actually are some really great colors. I think had they had like bags and like interesting shoes, because there are a lot of really interesting shoes and bags and accessories from Bottega, and that's kind of where, if you're gonna wear Bottega, you should be going with it. Like, they should have had the crazy quilted bags or ridiculous pouch holders, or like they should have had something besides just the boring ass clothes. Sorry. Next up is Camila Cabello, and she is wearing Atelier Versace, and like, somebody knows how to make Atelier Versace look like Fashion Nova. She's wearing this like leather bodice, which I didn't even know that was leather, which is sad because like I love leather, and when you make leather look cheap and chintzy like that, well, that's disappointing. And then it's just this, you know, fucking tulle embroidered like half part skirt. It's just so weird. I don't know why she tries, because she just can't do it. It's so shocking at this point that she's still trying to it's still shocking to see that she's trying to have a moment, because I just don't think it's gonna happen, people. I just really don't. I'm really sorry, but she's just depressing. Next up was Cardi B in Mugler, and this is Mugler by Casey Cadwallader. Now, here's the thing. I do think it's a bit basic for Cardi, and I think the Grammys, again, like last year we had that amazing archive Mugler moment. It was spectacular, it was phenomenal. I know that she wasn't really up for any awards or whatever, but I still feel like, you know, if you're gonna come a little bit crazy. Do something a little bit different. She just recently wore that full Marine Serre leather, like balaclava gown moment, like that, something like that could have happened. I just think this is a bit like, it's a bit like Georgia's Hopeka kind of vibes, and like, I don't want that from Mugler. I feel like Mugler is fantastic in terms of construction, in terms of, you know, fabric, in terms of bodycon, and here I just think this is like too pretty bullshit for me from Cardi. I don't hate to see pretty bullshit from her, but I think from Mugler, I just feel like it could have been so much better. I feel like it could have been so much stronger. Had it been in more like athletic-y fabric, I think it could have been different or cooler, but something about it is just not fantastic. I don't love the lines. I just don't really feel like they create something that we're obsessed with, and I know that that is Casey Cadwallader's kind of vibe at Mugler. It's this real like strict line work of creation, but I think if this had been done in like a denim, there were amazing denim looks from the most recent Mugler collection, which were all these strips of denim sewed together, and I feel like Cardi kind of had this like denim bodice that cinched the waist and, you know, sort of created these amazing sleeves. It would have been fantastic, ridiculous, over the top, crazy, but here I just think it reads basic as fuck Fashion Nova vibes, and that's disappointing. Next up is Dua Lipa and Alexander Wang, and like, yikes. You just had that Marine Serre moment. Like, I'm sorry I'm bringing up Marine Serre, but like, A, woman is killing it. B, you just had an amazing album cover, and that's what you wear to the Grammys. Fabrics that don't even match. It's a separate, and it doesn't match. I don't understand. I'd like to understand. Please help me understand. Whoever is her stylist needs to really, truly get their shit together, because this girl constantly looks fucking disastrous, and I don't know why this was chosen. Like, out of all of the Alexander Wang moments that you could have had, this is the moment you choose to have? I'm sorry, am I crazy? Am I the one that's in the wrong? That's, like, no, it's the Grammys! Bitches show up in eggs! They show up in eggs! Why are you, who has this amazing song that's out, and you know, she has an album that's coming out, why do you choose to look like the most basic bitch in the entire world? I'd like to know it, Dula Peep. I would like to know the reason why. It's a silk skirt that, you know, it doesn't even look like it fits her that well. I'm sorry. And then the top, it's a draped top. What am I supposed to do with that, Dula Peep? What am I supposed to do? And I can see all the straps. I can see I see all the straps. Alexander Wang, maybe we should start working on the YouTube channel for a hot second. Maybe like redirect our focus, because you do own a fashion brand. kind of important, kind of, you know, worth doing. So maybe we could figure that out first before we upload another video to the channel. Maybe, possibly, hopefully. Okay, cool. Like, yeah, thanks. Next up was Finneas O'Connell in Gucci. I love the boot. The boot is hot. It's a hot little boot. I'm like, okay, boot, you are seen. So we love a boot, first and foremost. Thank you. The pants, a little bit baggy. I don't know why the Gucci pants are so baggy and weird, like at the thigh. It always seems like it's at the thigh. It was like that with Anderson .Paak. Why is the thigh not fitting properly, people? I'd like to know. And as for the blazer, it's whatever. I mean, I guess they both had to wear like Gucci because I guess they're like Gucci people. Billie wore Gucci, and I'm hearing some things about a big moment with Gucci coming soon. So, I mean, I don't know, you know, exactly why this blazer was chosen, but I also feel like he could have picked a more interesting men's look. Like, I just really do. I feel like it could have been a more interesting sort of vibe for the men's moment. Like, there just was a great men's show. Like, why couldn't he wear, like, you know, a Kurt Cobain dress with ripped jeans and been, like, Kurt Cobain reincarnated? I don't know. Like, that could have happened. But alas, we get, you know, a floral blazer. You gotta step it up, babe. Gotta step it up. But I like the boot. Next up is FKA Twigs and Ed Marler, and I love her. I love her so much. I think she's fantastic. I think she's wonderful. I think she's stunning. I think that she really, truly doesn't get the credit that she deserves, but I don't like this. I'm really sorry. I may seem crazy. I may seem, I don't know. I don't like it. I just think it reads kind of like cheap, chintzy, tacky. And I really, truly think it has to do with the sheer pant and like décolletage kind of. I just don't know why they did that. Ed Marler has also made looks for her before and they were very questionable. So maybe we shouldn't have done that. And also we're just coming off of that beautiful Valentino moment that she just wore at the men's show. So like I'm expecting like high caliber moments, and this just doesn't read that to me. I think the referencing is there. Like I love the bodice, I love the big sleeves, I love the hood, even the skirt. I'm not obsessed with it because it is that pink and I just feel like that totally throws it off for me. I think that had they done all black, I feel like it would have read better. In reality, I just think the pink kind of like, ooh, with the sheer and the silver and the black, like I just think it reads far too much. But I think they needed to either like cut out the pink or they needed to cut out the bodysuit vibe, because I just don't think the bodysuit vibe works. I just can see the seam in it. I just think it's too long. I just think it's really weird and I don't love that for her, and I'd like for her to have a much better moment than this, because it could have been cool, but I think they just went too far. And I think that also, had she worn like Valentino or something, like I don't know why Valentino didn't dress her. I think that would have been so hot. Like, why was she not wearing haute couture? The most recent haute couture collection, like, you know, we had a few days, get it right off the runway, put it on FKA Twigs, put it on her, put it on her. There were so many hot looks from that collection too that like would have been fantastique on her. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. Next up is Guap Dad 4000, and like, 'twas a moment. 'Twas a fucking moment. I am obsessed with this do-rag that is a train. It's a train do-rag. It's a true rag. It's fantastic. I love it. Like, here's the thing about fashion. You don't have to be dressed by Valentino or Dior or Chanel to, you know, have a fashion moment, and I think this is a real fashion moment. I don't know who he's wearing, but I do love it. I do think it's fantastic, and I do feel like Kim Jones would be very disappointed that he didn't do this. Okay, so I found it. The suit is Rick Owens, which, you know, it's fine. The do-rag is actual by Charles Ray Styles. I don't know who that is, but interesting. I just love it. I feel like had it been done by like Kim Jones and Dior, that would have been so hot. Like, it would have been so very on brand, very like aesthetically pleasing. Like, it would have been really, really cool. And I think that a lot of these brands need to like hop on these cool fashion moments, because this is really cool, and it's so cool to see that it doesn't have to be orchestrated by a big brand. I would love for that to happen, but I think this is so chic. I think it's so fun. I think it's so different. I think this is the moment that you needed to have as a man. Like, it doesn't have to be a Billy Porter crazy, ridiculous, over the top, you know, moment, but this I think is so interesting. I think it's a concept. I think it's something that, you know, relates back to Black culture, but then brings a sort of modern, sort of feminine edge by having this train of a jewelry. Like, I think it's really fantastic. I think it's really cool to see. And I think it's great to see that, like, fashion is not necessarily dead. I feel like recently I've been feeling fashion is done. It's over. It's canceled. Like, I'm going to be out of a job soon. But I think there were some great looks at the Grammys that made me have hope in the future for the children, because it's cute. It's a good moment. Thank you, Guap Dad. Not a sentence I ever thought I would say in my life. Next up is H.E.R, H.E.R in D squared, and not cute. Not cute at all. It's just a hodgepodge of prints. It's just a gigantic kimono in 49 different prints, like mashed together awfully, which makes sense for D squared. But then you like add that humongous, awful gold belt. Like, why couldn't you just tie the bow in the back? Like, why do I have to see the shittily dumb bow? Because, like, it's lopsided. It's lopsided. Look at it. It's lopsided. So we got to figure that one out. Thank you. Bye-bye. Next up was Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. Apparently Sophie Turner is wearing Louis Vuitton, and I can tell because, well, it looks like an ugly Louis Vuitton custom look. So that's that. I don't know. It's like a sequin, you know, polo top and a little mini ruffled skirt. Are you Serena Vanderwoodson? Like, why are we giving me ugly Gossip Girl fashion from 2008? Somebody want to tell me? Somebody want to let me know? Somebody want to help me out here? No? Okay, great. Joe Jonas, I don't know who he's wearing, but again, it's just whatever. Like, who cares? It's like some weird print that nobody gives a shit about in navy blue. Like, who cares? Thank you. Bye-bye, Jonases. Next up is John Legend and Alexander McQueen. I don't love it. I love that John took, you know, the stride to be a bit different, to be a bit ridiculous, because this is kind of ridiculous. It's a half pleated, you know, suit jacket. It's kind of ridiculous. It's very Sarah Burton takes on tailoring. Like, I'm happy that he tried it, but I just think it's weird. I think it's just a little bit too long. I feel like maybe they'd shortened it just a little bit. It would have been a little bit more drastic, but I think the length just sort of is strange. I know it's meant to be strange, you know it's meant to be different, you know it's meant to be asymmetrical, but it's just kind of whatever to me. It just looks like a weird moment that could have been cuter. I just think that they raised the hem like 2 or 3 inches. It could have been cooler. That's just my opinion. Next up is Khalid in C's Marianne. Yeah, no, it's just a red suit with a blue shirt underneath. And C's Marianne to me is very like colorful, gradation, like really, really bright poppy moments that sort of are interesting and playing with color. And to me, it's just a red suit with a blue shirt underneath. I just think that with C's Marianne, they would try to go a bit more audacious, a bit more over the top, a bit more ridiculous, considering it's the Grammys. And I think everybody should be thinking that way. It's the Grammys. Be a bit heightened in your sense of fashion. Be heightened in your referencing. Be heightened in your state of mind. Think about fashion as not just a suit I have to wear to an event. Think about fashion as an experience that you are giving to the world because you have the stage and the platform to give that to the world. Think of it as a privilege, not as a job. And that's what it's giving me here. Next up is Lana Del Rey. I don't even know. I can't. The chevron, the fringe. Apparently she bought it at Dillard's. I don't know what that is. Tara, do you know what Dillard's is? Yeah, we don't know what Dillard's is, but it's a mess. It's a hot ass Great Gatsby mess. Like, the Great Gatsby, no wonder why he got killed. Like, if that's what the girls were wearing in the 1920s, yikes. It's just a silver sequin dress with ugly ass, you know, cheap looking fringe. Like, and then everybody was complaining on Twitter she didn't win Album of the Year. But, like, she showed up looking like that. I don't think she should have won Album of the Year if she dressed like that. And she didn't prepare herself. Like, how am I supposed to expect you to have Album of the Year when you show up looking like Frumpelstiltskin? Frumpelstiltskin. Lana Del Frumpelstiltskin. Like, no, why? Ooh, no. Sorry. Bye-bye. Also, I'm not giving, like, my actual opinion on music because I don't know anything. But, like, I'm just saying. Next up is Lil Nas X. He's wearing Versace, and like, this is a moment. This is a fucking moment. This is a true blue fucking moment, more true pink fucking moment. So hot, so beautiful, so wonderful, so fantastic. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a reference back to Gianni Versace at its finest. You know what it's not? It's not the J.Lo Grammys dress, so I'm happy with it. So essentially, it's a leather cowboy suit. You know, Lil Nas and the whole cowboy aesthetic, very on brand for him, makes sense, love that, perfect. I have no problem when he does it because it's just sort of him. So the thing is, he's wearing this neon pink leather studded jacket and high-waisted leather pants with a pink, you know, gold-tipped boot and a little body harness with a sort of fishnet top and then a cowboy hat. And like, this is true blue Versace. Like, this is a reference back to the iconic Versace bondage collection. You know, Versace had no problem exploring ideas of sexuality and, you know, gender, and he had no problem exploring things like BDSM as well. I did a whole video on Versace and a Versace collection that you can get into if you'd like, you know, click the little tab somewhere. But I just think this is a perfect melding of the Versace aesthetics with Lil Nas. I think the ode to the sort of cowboy aesthetic, but incorporating those core Versace, you know, aesthetics, which is the prints, because you can see on the sleeves there must be a shirt underneath somewhere that has these Versace silk Baroque Rococo prints, which are very Versace and signature to the house and signature to Gianni himself. You know, this bondage, you know, sort of top, again, it's just really beautiful Versace. It's a really beautiful ode to his work and to his genius of what he was. I think it fits him beautifully. I love the fact that you have the little Medusa, you know, gold piece right on the forefront of the hat. I think even like the boots, the matching with the gold like that, it's just very Versace. It's instantly recognizable as Versace while incorporating really beautiful, you know, historical fashion references from one of the most iconic designers of the 20th century. So I'm very happy with it. I'm very, you know, thankful and, you know, grateful that he did that because I just think it's really cool. I'm just I'm happy to see it, and I'm happy that we're all getting to experience it together because I think that's what good fashion is. It's an experience for us all to experience it together. I loved it. I'm happy with it. Next up is Lily Singh and George's chakra. My chakra is all fucked up because of this ugly ass dress. Like, I don't know why she just looks like such a mess. Also, why are you bringing a bag with Skittles? Like, take that away. Stop. You're not funny. You're not funny. Have you not seen the videos about your YouTube channel or late night talk show that nobody cares about? Stop. Stop. Please. Stop. It's so bad. Like, that dress is awful. Why would you have the silk satin running through and creating weird like shapes for your boobs, and then it's strapless but you have your hair over one side of the strap? Like, why? Who? And then the slit with the shoe doesn't fit. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it. Cause look, I can see all of that space. Mess. An absolute hot ass disaster. Next up is Lizzo and Atelier Versace. And now for me, I just want to say, again, Lizzo, fantastic, love her, icon. She's definitely going for a more elegant, eleganza sort of aesthetic, and I definitely think she hit that. I think she looks beautiful. I think the dress for her is simple, stunning. I do wish that the fur stole wasn't covering up the sides of the dress, because in reality, I can actually see that there's some sort of ridges on the dress, which I think are meant to be some sort of design aesthetic for the look. I can't see it because the fur stole is in the way. So like, you know, you have to be really careful with accessories. You really, really do. Like, you can't just show up and cover the great things. I also don't think that the slit is necessary. I understand she needs to walk, but put the slit in the back. Put the slit in the back. There's no need for the slit in the front. It's just ugly. It's awful. It's gross. It totally ruins, you know, the aesthetic of the look. I just am like actually kind of disappointed by it. I want Lizzo to have this really elegant, eleganza moment, but I don't think the Grammys is the right time. I feel like the Grammys is where you go big or you go home. And I also just feel like, you know, it's a sort of blech moment, you know what I mean? Everybody else really sort of like did a little bit crazy, did a little bit avant-garde, and you know, it's just a bit safe for me for Lizzo. I loved the Valentino moment with the tiny bag. Like, that was perfect. We need that for the Grammy. That's what the Grammys is about. It's not about being like, it's not being pretty, like beautiful, basic. Like, that's the Oscars, that's, you know, the Emmys, the, you know, all of those places. but not the Grammys. It's just not the place for it. Sorry. I will say there was a little Christian Siriano moment on Lizzo though that I did think should have been on the red carpet because that was hot. This beautiful black dress is stunning. It's ethereal. It has all the little white crystals that make it look like she's a starry night. I don't know why we couldn't have had that on the red carpet. I just think that was fantastic, stunning, amazing, wonderful. I'd love to have seen that rather than that white look. Sorry. Maggie Rogers, I don't know who that is. She's wearing like old Chanel. She's wearing old Chanel, I don't care. It's like boring Starry Night bullshit and like she has some like Chanel quilted water bottle. Next up is Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra. That was rough. First things first, Nick Jonas looks like the Golden Snitch, and I'm just kind of like whatever about it, although I'm interested in the socks, I guess, I don't know. But Priyanka Chopra, I just have to talk about whatever the fuck that is. That is the most atrocious thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I don't even know what's going, it's such a deep plunging neckline that like, I love deep plunge, but I don't like a deep plunge when I can see all the wrinkles and crinkles of the fabric when you put your arms on it, because it's so oversized, like, it's just a weird thing to have gone for. And then you have all the fringe pouring out of it for some strange, like, the thing is, I think these people don't know how to edit. You have one thing that you're going for. You're going for a deep plunge, right? If that's what you want to go for, then make it a focus on the deep plunge, because when you do too much, it very rarely works. And they always do way too much. So then you add the fringe, that is an ombre fringe, because it can't just be a regular fringe. It has to be ombre with pinks in it. And then it has sort of a train, and then it's embroidered and, you know, with all these flowers and crystals and gridded and, you know, it's just it's a hodgepodge of aesthetics that doesn't work. I think that if you're gonna do something, do one thing. Focus on one moment that really will take our breath away. Simple, yet effective. We need that from Priyanka Chopra, because honestly, before I knew about Priyanka Chopra, really, I was like, oh my god, she's so chic, she's so wonderful, like, she's an icon. And then every time I see her on a red carpet, I'm like, oh god, what is this? Who would let this woman exist in this manner? It's just awful. Like, if you can't see that that dress is awful, well, like Ariana Grande's second look, you need to have your eyes checked. Next up is Nikita Dragon and Augusto Manzanrez. I don't know who he is, but again, Nikita is so boring. Like, it's just so, like, who cares? Like, skin tight dress. Like, do something different. I don't care about all, like, the pearls. You look like a scaly, like, you know, I don't even know. Like, what's a really gross? You look like you have mumps and measles, but they're pearls. Like, you look like you got an oyster measle. I don't even know. Maybe that's a disease. Maybe that's not. I don't know, but it's just ugly. It's just ugly. It's just so tacky, so sad, so boring. Like, look at the shoes. Yikes. Like, pink crystal shoe. Like, why are you pairing that with the whole nude ass look? And then the feather boa. Nobody needs a feather. You don't need a feather boa. You don't need it. You really don't. You're not a showgirl from the 1940s. Nobody asked for it. Nobody wants it. Goodbye. Thank you. See you later. Next up is Orville Peck in Dior Men, and I don't really know much about him except that he always wears a face mask for some strange reason, but it has fringe, so it looks like he kind of has hair that's like falling over his face. But I like this. I think the gray is nice. I think the big belt is very interesting. I like, you know, the sequiny, fringy moment on the top with the bolo tie and the little cowboy hat and the black leather, which matches the boots. Like, if you're gonna incorporate multiple aesthetics, multiple styles, multiple colors, they need to like pair together. And I think the full gray outfit with the cowboy hat is perfectly juxtaposed against the black mask with the black boots. And then the fringe like takes the cake. You have a big rodeo belt. I like it. I'm into it. I think that's great. Cool. Wonderful. Love it. Next up is Rosalia in Alexander Wang. Like, she's some like new young artist that's, you know, cool and interesting, and you put her in a red leather fringe dress that's draped awfully. Why? Like, she's a cool young artist. Like, put her in somebody that's cool and young and interesting. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's a mess. It's such a fucking mess. She looks, it's just, it looks like Real Housewives reunion outfit. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting Real Housewives of the Grammys. Next up is Sean Ross in this full pearl out moment. And like, Sean Ross isn't even like a singer, but somehow he looks better than literally everybody else. Like, these celebrities and their stylists don't think outside of the box, and that's the problem. They think in terms of, who do I get my check from? What brand is gonna dress me and pay me to wear their looks? Stop thinking like that, because guess what? Maybe for those brands, that's great that they can put you in a mundane and mediocre experience. But for us that look, that want to care, that want to see fashion exuberate and reverberate off of the walls of the world, this is fashion. This is it. This is a moment. And I don't know who the designer is, but I don't care. The look is so good that I don't have to care who the designer is. I don't need to look to the backstory because it's such a chic moment. But so many of these celebrities wear these boring, basic, bitch-ass looks, and it just sucks. Like, it sucks. It just sucks so much, and it's so sad to see. Sean Ross, fantastic. Claps, claps, claps. I loved every second of it. Thank you, Daddy. Next up is Shawn Mendes, and now I feel like I'm gonna catch so much heat for this, but I like this look. I like this look a lot, actually. I think it's probably one of the best he's looked in a hot second. I really like the waistcoat. I like the little vest, and I like the tiny, minute detail of what is meant to be probably like a stopwatch of sorts wrapped around one of the buttons of the waistcoat. I really love this color on him. I think it's fantastic. I think the suit actually fits him well. I think he's wearing a little black boot. He's wearing Louis Vuitton, which is done by Virgil Abloh, and I think after that most recent Virgil Abloh collection, the suiting really was super duper strong. It was really, really beautiful, and so it's nice to see that Sean is, you know, turning a little bit of a look here. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing ridiculous, it's nothing over the top, but I think when a suit fits, like that Ariana Grande moment, yes, we've seen Tool a million times before. We've seen Shawn Mendes in a suit literally all the time, and I will not stand by the statement that he is the best dressed man of the world or whatever, because it's bullshit. But when something fits nicely, when it looks good, when it looks, you know, well done, well constructed, I think credit should be given. And here, I just think the adding of the waistcoat with a little popped collar gives me very nice 70s vibes. I'm getting Austin Powers, but like, he's more serious about his life than Austin Powers. I just think it's a nice little moment for Sean. I'm happy with it. I'm not gonna, you know, shit on him. Next up is Steve Lacy. I don't know who he's wearing, except I'm sure that he's wearing Rick Owens shoes. I like this. I like this kill sort of skirt, sort of, you know, big suit jacket with like flaps of fabric. I think it's different. It's androgynous, it's fashion, it's cool. It's a style that we don't really see a lot. I do like the shoes matching with it. It just gives me like instant Rick vibes. I just like it. I think it's cool. I think it's stunning. I think it's simple. It must be Rick because like that skirt, that like sort of purpley gray is like such a Rick Owens color to me. And I feel like the top is giving me very like Tom Brownie sort of vibes. Tom Brownie, imagine. Yeah, I think it's nice. I think it works. I think it's simple yet effective. It plays with gender. It plays with androgyny in like a really quite like minimalist way. And so it's nice to see that. I feel like a lot of the times we have people that sort of take androgyny and, you know, gender bending and gender construct redefinition as, you know, sort of big over the top avant-garde, and that's great, and I love that. I think that's necessary. But I also think on the more minimal, minute, sort of demure side, it's also cool to see that as well here. I think it's really nice, simple, effective little moment. Next up is Tess Holliday wearing Larika Matoshi. I like this. I think it's quite chic. Listen, to see plus size women on the red carpet in a look that actually is not terribly done. It's this nice little like tulle moment with all these strawberries on it. I feel like that's very Tess Holliday sort of vibe, is very like pinup girl, very 1950s, very like, you know, a little bit vintage, and I feel like that sort of reigns true here. I think the focus on the waist with the little strings is nice, and I like that it's not just one string, but it's two, so it actually like lifts up the girls, lifts them up, they're lifted. I actually don't like the second string because I feel like it cuts into the boobs in a weird way. I just don't think it was really necessary. I think the one string, maybe having the bow in the back, I think that's always a great way to go. Let the bow hang in the back. You someone wrong, he would agree with me. Yeah, I just think this reigns true for her aesthetic. I think it's nice to see a plus size woman not dressed in like just a gigantic piece of fabric that, you know, the designer very obviously doesn't know what they're doing. I just think it's nice. I think it's simple. I think it's cool. Good for her. Love to see it. You love to see it. Next up is Tovlo, and she is wearing vintage Vivienne Westwood, and like I had to talk about this ridiculous scoop neck jacket and pant combo. Like, imagine you have a scoop neck blazer that you can see your bra through. I love it. I love it. Like, this is fashion. This is ridiculous. I don't don't even really know, I know who Tavlo is, like, I've heard the name, probably on the radio or whatever, but like, now I want to know more about her. Now I'm so interested. Now I'm like obsessed because she wore vintage Vivienne Westwood. You don't have to wear an ugly Atelier Versace look to like, be different. Like, be different, wear cool vintage, wear like interesting pieces, wear cool young designer, like wear stuff that really speaks to fashion, changes the game, changes our concept of how we dress. This is doing that. Like, I would love to wear a scoop neck blazer now, and I feel like this is inspiring, and I need everybody else to get on this wavelength. Thank you, please. I do want to do a little shout out to Ty Hunter, who is wearing Christoph Rumpf. I actually don't know if he was on the red carpet, but he's wearing Christoph Rumpf, who is the winner of the H.E.R festival. It's like this festival for cool young fashion people. But like, this is the stuff that I mean. Like, it's not hard to find this cool stuff. Like, this is a beautifully structured, stiff jacket that has all of these amazing lines, piping. It has a black pant that matches the black turban, and the yellow boot that matches the gold of the jacket. Like, fashion is not hard. Fashion is not difficult. Like, if you actually try, if you actually do something interesting and have a real concept, it's so easily done. And like, this isn't even Beyonce. This is Beyonce's fashion director. Like, it's not difficult to do this kind of stuff. It's not. It's really, truly not. And last but not least is Tyler, the Creator, wearing Golf Le Fleur, which is his brand. Now, I'm not exactly obsessed with the Grand Budapest Hotel experience, but I appreciate Tyler, the Creator. I think he's doing something a little bit different. I think he's going out there. He's really like making a moment for himself, and I appreciate that. I think that's cool. I think that's wonderful. I love the little suitcase. It's very chic. It's very elegant. I love a good prop on the red carpet. I'm not offended by it. I think it's interesting to see him in this sort of look. I mean, I do think it reads a little bit more costume than it does fashion, but that's not always a bad thing. And I mean, it is his brand. I do think that, for red carpets in the future for Tyler, if he really like pushes it and sort of creates his own codes of his brand, which I know everybody's asked me to talk about it. I haven't done it. I apologize. But I do feel like he needs to like, sort of create that aesthetic that's not just a streetwear brand, because that's kind of what it will always be for a lot of fashion people. But I think he really needs to push himself to really get it out the gate and sort of make it a fashion moment that has its aesthetics. I think that if the fabric had been different, like had he used some sort of like microfiber fabric or just something that doesn't read Party City costume, would have been better in this moment. So yeah, I like where it's going, but I need it to be elevated to the next level for Tyler. So that is the end of my red carpet review of the Grammys 2020. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions. I will see you guys in the next video, and TTYL.